Hi everyone.
Hi.
So we're in Plovdiv.
Plovdiv, yeah.
It took us the whole time to realize how to say it properly. We'll just show you around. So right now we're in front of the town hall. And then over here we have sort of the main plaza square with a pretty Christmas tree and McDonald's and Raffi, which we think is like a really popular ice cream place because they're everywhere.
Yeah,
there's like three.
At least three.
Yeah. Are you okay there?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we came in by bus this morning. It took us 2.5 hours to get here.
2 hours?
2 hours. 2 hours. This wasn't that long. It was supposed to take 2:20, but it ended up taking 2 hours.
Yeah.
And yeah, the bus station is really close to the center of town. So we started by, well, we were hungry because we got here at 12. So we got some food at Diana, a place that Jen found from another YouTuber. Like, we looked up what to do in Plovdiv.
Yeah.
And yeah, this guy was talking about a restaurant called Diana, so we went there. And it seemed rather cozy. There was a fireplace and...
There was like sheep's rugs on the backs of all of the chairs, like sheep fur or sheep wool, I don't know. Like sheepskin, I guess.
Sheepskin, yeah. It was more rustic than that.
So it was interesting.
But no, it was rather cozy, but it was hard to know what was sort of traditional because there was...
It was a big menu. There were so many options. Lots of meat.
Lots of meat and some dishes that sounded sort of more Asian and some that were like Bavarian and some that, so it was just a hodgepodge of things.
Yeah.
I ended up getting a bean soup with sausages, which was rather good.
It was good.
Yeah, and you got...
And then we shared a salad and we shared some Bulgarian pork steak.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was, and the portions were rather big.
Yeah, there was 4 pork steaks on the plate, which I thought was a little excessive, but good.
And then after that, we met the tour right behind to do the free walking tour.
Yeah.
And it was the same company that did Sofia. And both times, I really liked the tour guides.
Yeah, I like the company, like the way that they organize it. It's very obvious that they have like a starting script kind of thing, but I like the way that they do it. So yeah, they were really good. Both of them were really good walking tours.
Yeah. And actually, we haven't done the Sofia video yet.
No, yet.
So yeah, stay tuned.
Spoiler alert.
And so yeah, I forgot what his name was. Desi? Vesi?
Vesi? It was short for, it wasn't Vesuvius, but it was short for something that was a Bulgarian name. But I think Vesi.
Okay. And yeah, he was a really good tour guide, really approachable. Like, and he asked a lot of questions to us, which like...
We had a lot of trivia.
Kind of held us accountable a little bit about like...
listening.
But also like, yeah, I don't know, I kind of liked his way of doing it.
Yeah, we also got candies when we got the right answer, which was really nice.
Oh yeah, and Jen, like right off the bat, got a candy. Because the first question was, how old is the city? And then Jen said... The
oldest city in Europe.
Yeah.
And then I also said from 4000 BC.
Yeah.
Which both were correct. So.
Yeah. And yes, that was really cool. So she got a candy right up from the bat. I didn't get a candy. The first candy was a group candy because everybody just shouted all at once. But yeah. I said some right answers in my head and then didn't really say them out loud, so it doesn't count.
You could have got a candy later on because he asked a question, but you didn't answer.
Yeah, such is life. But no, so we kind of gathered our 3 favorite facts. I'll start with mine. So, well, the tour started here, and then we went down this big street, which used to be a chariot racing sort of arena, right? And about halfway through, you have a statue of a guy going like this, and he's like dressed from the like maybe 1800s, like, or is it 1900s? 1900s. Okay, I didn't. Yeah.
It's just like kind of a shabby suit almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And apparently his name is Milo, and Milo had meningitis when he was younger, and he never really fully recovered. And so the way our guy described him was not the village idiot, but like the town. I don't know what to call it.
Almost like the town mascot. Like he was very well known amongst all of the residents, and he brought them a lot of joy with this kind of quirky goofiness.
Yeah, that's it. And he was, I think that's what and the guide was like, he was different, but everybody liked him, and
he was good natured.
Yeah, he would like make pull faces at kids, and
he'd catcall all the women.
Yeah,
the pretty women walking by.
And so now the legend goes that like you have to, since he's going like this, because he was a really good listener, everybody could tell him what they wanted, and he would like give you advice. I don't know exactly how it worked, but nowadays you can get to whisper in his ear one of your wishes, and you can also rub his knees for to be more like Casanova, because he had a way with the ladies apparently. Yeah. Interesting. So that was my fact about Milo and living there. And then do you want to talk about the whole
so from there, so the street that we were walking on was a pedestrian only street, and it's actually the largest pedestrian only street in Europe.
I think he said world, but it could have been Europe.
Remember. But it's a really, really long pedestrian-only street, which is pretty cool. Sorry, I moved.
That's okay.
And then from there, we went to like this really funky, like artsy district that they called the Trap, because there's lots of little narrow alleyways and everything, so it's really easy to get lost. But I guess after all of the like communism and all of that fun stuff, people were really upset and graffitiing all over the place, so they wanted to express like that they were Bulgarian and just express themselves, so they actually made graffiti legalized and now have like one of the biggest graffiti competitions in Europe, in the world.
It's never clear.
Sure. But as a result of that, if you win the big graffiti contest, you get to paint like this awesome like mural on these huge walls. So we were walking through and we got to see lots of street art, which I really enjoy.
There were like 4 stories high?
Yeah, I'd say. Yeah. At least, yeah, they were really cool. But the fun fact that we learned in there that was like my favorite fact. So this year, Plovdiv is the cultural capital of Europe, as well as a place in Italy, but we're not worried about that. So for 2019, so it just ended. So for that year, they decided that all of the streetlights, anytime a baby is born in the hospital, they will light the street lamps for a little bit of time to show that a baby's been born. And all of the locals liked it so much that they're actually going to continue on with that because they thought it was so cute. So
and Jen got to see it, like as he was talking about it.
It actually
happened, and I, like an idiot, I looked at the bottle in a tree thinking that was a street light. And I didn't get it. I was like, are those the street lights? Like the whole time I was like, those can't be the street lights. And it's only after the tour ended that Jen was like, no, there was a street light behind it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Which is too bad. We were originally going to try and film the video there, but then thought it would be really boring if it never came on. So we went for City Hall instead.
And also, yeah, at nighttime it's always lit up. So yes, after that we went into sort of the old town, what they called the old town, and there was like the walls to the fortress, which were interesting because you could see like all the different layers of the different people that came. So the Romans, the Byzantines, the Ottomans, the Macedonians, like everybody who came like had a little piece of the wall. So that was pretty cool. And then, one of my favorite facts. So we went up at the top of that hill because there's 7 hills around.
So there used to be, at the very beginning, they said there was 3 hills.
Yeah.
And for the old city. And then they said that Plovdiv. We'll get it eventually. Had 7, but 1 actually ended up falling, so there's 6 hills.
And so we could see about 3-4 hills from where we were, and one of them had a clock tower. And he told us that that clock tower is the oldest clock tower in the Balkans, and the problem with that clock tower is it doesn't have a face. The only thing it does is it rings every 30 minutes, or every half hour, every 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And so he's like, it's not really good to tell the time, but like you know when the half hour is, so I'm not exactly sure how it helped. But he kind of used it as an excuse to why like Bulgarian people are always late for things. He's like, yeah, we follow clocks without faces, so we're okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, that whole neighborhood, it was like old there was like the ethnographic museum,
Yeah.
which had like a house from like the 1800s, and it was really pretty and painted, and it seemed to be really well conserved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, for sure.
And then there was a church that was about in the same style, and he told us how the walls had to be hiding it in Ottoman times. Like you were allowed to practice whatever religion you wanted, but if it wasn't a mosque,
As long as the Ottomans couldn't see it.
yeah, as long as they couldn't see it, it was fine. You could do whatever you want. So yeah, they had pretty high walls around it.
But lots of beautiful paintings for that church too. He said that they'd painted from the Old Testament and the New Testament, going, say, left to right, basically all the way through. There'd be different panels for each one. We didn't actually go inside, but it sounded really nice.
And yeah, they said that the inside, anyways, it was really, really dark. But yeah. And after that, oh right, and after that was kind of like the highlight. I thought was going to be the highlight.
Yeah,
of
what we were waiting for.
Plovdiv, which was the amphitheater. And he says it's not an amphitheater; it's just a theater because it was always used just for theater, whereas others were used for games and theater. Is that it?
Battles, but then he said that they did do battles there as well.
Yeah, so I was slightly confused by
The
that.
thing, I think the amphitheater is two theaters facing each other put together to make an oval, which is why that one's not, because it's only half. But they still did battles, so I don't know whether it is or not isn't an amphitheater, because he said it had two purposes, which is what and theater is like two or something, I can't remember. But then he's like, oh, but they did battles, that's why the seats in the first row were like 7 meters up, so that the animals, when they're... No, he said 7.
7 feet.
7 feet, oh, okay.
Yeah.
7 feet up, so that when the animals were fighting down below, the people in the front row weren't getting injured.
But, and actually, so it was kind of like, that fact was kind of cool, but when you look at it, it's not that great. Just because, I don't know why, but they decided that on some of them, they're going to have like a rain protection. And so it's not continuous, and so
There's one small awning right in the middle.
Yeah, but then there's a couple everywhere.
Yeah.
So it kind of ruins pictures for everyone. And I guess I didn't see it on pictures, but like once you're there, and he told us about it, that they had found it like all crumpled up, like people had built houses on top of it.
Yeah.
And then a guy was digging in his backyard, and then he found a piece of marble, and then they kept digging, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is a whole amphitheater, like. They're huge blocks, but it had been destroyed
from an earthquake, I think.
Oh, right, from an earthquake. So now, like, archaeologists try to put it back together, but it's kind of evident that it was put back together later.
And I think the other issue that I had with it that kind of ruined like the photographs and stuff of it as well, and just like the overall view, is that because it was built, like there were 3 houses or whatever there before, there's houses and buildings kind of all the way around it, like directly on either side. So I feel like most of the amphitheaters I've been to, you kind of get overwhelmed at how big it is, and just it's usually on its own.
Yeah.
But this one, you're like very much in the middle of a city with houses on either side, and it's just kind of, it doesn't feel like you're going back in time or anything. You're just looking at an old.
And I do think it, like he said, that there was like modern things happening, so like operas would go there and like festivals. And I think it would be kind of cool because you do get a really nice view of like the mountains in the background and well, bits of the city. But like, I think it would be nice to see an opera there. But as just a sight to see, I guess maybe my expectations were too high.
Well, I think we've been lucky to see some pretty cool amphitheaters in our day. Like the one in Duga was really cool. In our day.
But yeah, so right now, so after the tour, we just came back and took pictures of places we want to take pictures of. And he recommended a place that was actually quite close to the bus station to eat.
So we're going to check that out. It's not McDonald's.
It sounds like McDonald's, but it's
like
not.
McDonough or something like
go,
that. Yeah. And it's very traditional, and it has people in traditional dress as servers. There may be some dancing, there may be some music. We don't really know. Yeah. So we're gonna go check that out as soon as we finish with you guys.
Yeah. But I mean that's
all I have to say.
And then tomorrow we are thinking of doing the Rila Monastery.
Yes.
We tried to do the Rila Monastery yesterday, and that didn't really work out.
Not so much, but we did get to take a very fun city bus ride.
Yeah.
Really early in the morning after New Year's, which I know I thoroughly enjoyed.
It was fun. But yeah, so that's about it for Plovdiv.
Yeah.
Finally got their name right.
There you go.
And-
We're gonna look at it and we're gonna find out that none of the versions said were right.
And yeah, and then hopefully tomorrow we'll do the monastery, and that will be our last day in Bulgaria.
Yeah. But then back to Turkey, to Cappadocia for some hot air balloon rides and living in a fairy chimney for a week.
Yeah.
Not entirely sure what that means either. We'll find out.
Hopefully we can make a video from there.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Bye.